Hello, everybody. So, I had stopped doing readings. I kind of retired from doing readings for so many reasons, okay? Um, and recently I have got guided and pushed and pulled out of my bed to do a collective reading for you with our star of the show, the Lakota Sweat Lodge deck. So I've had multiple channels that I deleted. My very first one was Native Light Workers. And I went through so many transformations that I found it to be my highest good to delete that channel. There was a lot of interferences and that channel got deleted. So then I did another channel and I talked about I talked about non-profit sector. You know what I mean? Like non-profit revolutionary topics. And I had to delete that channel as well because there's certain platforms that encourage silencing the truth. So, what's the point of talking about certain things if they're going to be an issue for certain platforms that don't have the best intentions, right? So here I am, and I'm doing something brand new. With this channel, I'm going to try to stick to two different things, and one of them is going to be our Lakota Sweat Lodge cards. These are cards that just let you know what your updates are. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes we feel like we're going crazy and we just want the update. Like God, higher power, higher energies, let me know. Is there something that we're doing wrong? Is there something that I need to shift or transform, remove, replace, change? So, this is not something that I'm going to be doing often. This is something that I'm probably going to be doing once every month or so. And it's a collective reading for everyone, all signs. Um, when or if I were to do readings daily or weekly, I feel that it removes the experience from the person that needs to have that experience. And a lot of times people get codependent in an unhealthy, toxic manner, and they're constantly getting readings. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that person that enables you to codependency where you think that someone else is going to validate you. Because a problem with a lot of these, a problem with a lot of people is that they think that someone else is going to validate them. They want to know about their soulmate. They want to know about their twin flame. And you can be your own twin flame, honey. You can be the masculine and feminine and be your own twin flame. You don't need someone else to complete you. The only reason why people really get married and get into relationships is because it eases the pain of having to deal with certain karma. If you have a companion in this lifetime, it's going to ease the pain of your sentence, per se. I am a strong believer of karma, so if you don't believe in karma, then this is not going to be a channel for you. My name is Shoshana, and I used to focus on only people who are trying to recover from alcohol substances, for example. But how is that going to work if the majority, the masses, drink alcohol? There's going to be a very limited audience that I can penetrate. So I decided I'm just going to do an all signs reading, and we're going to see how this goes. If you guys like them, I stopped doing readings simply because it was interfering with other people's responsibilities. You have a responsibility to your life. And when you're constantly watching readings, you're taking that experience away from you. For example, let's say someone gets a tarot reading that says that your boyfriend is going to call you. Okay. So you don't do anything. You just sit down and you wait and you wait and you wait, and he never calls you. He never calls you because you assumed that you were going to get a call back because a tarot reader told you so. But had you not watched that video, had you not been given that information, you would have maybe gone to your favorite park that day with your friends, and your boyfriend would have been there and seen you from a distance and been like, dang, that's how you looking? You out there with your friends looking really nice, you know? And he decides to have called you, or he would have called you if he would have seen you at the park with your friends and got motivated or inspired to make that phone call that you really wanted. But because you watched a tarot reading that said you don't need to do anything, he's going to call you, you just sat there and he never called you. So when it comes to energy and psychic work, when you look at something, it changes the future. So that is why I stopped doing readings, okay? Or let's say love readings. Because there's certain experiences that you have to go through yourself, because if you don't, then you don't learn anything from them. And you have to be careful that you're not getting scammed. There's so many scammers out there. So anyways, my point is that this is not going to be a love reading, okay? This is not about codependency and thinking that the BS that someone has to validate you and make you feel worthy. You know, the most successful women in the world financially are single, because they know that if they get in a relationship, it's just going to bring them down. You know, that's the truth of the matter. Now, if you happen to find someone who's at your level, it's a freaking blessing that should not be taken for granted if you find someone on your level. But if you don't find anyone in your level, that is just more of a reason for you to succeed as an independent entrepreneur. Can you be an entrepreneur if you get in a relationship? The relationship starts being about the relationship and the focus of multiple avenues and multiple assets and multiple sources of income. They deflate, they decrease, and your attention ends up being on the relationship and you finding out what their traumas are, and they find out what your traumas are, and then you're triggered, and then you're doing things that you were doing 10 years ago, when if you didn't get into that relationship at all, you would be succeeding. And a lot of times people don't succeed because they get heartbroken. And when you're heartbroken, you lose your motivation and you lose your ambition. So I don't have anything against a healthy relationship. I don't have anything against a healthy marriage. But I do come across a lot of toxic unions that would be better off by themselves. And you have to question, am I in this relationship because I'm settling? Am I in this relationship because they inspire me or motivate me? Am I in this relationship because they encourage my entrepreneurship? You have to ask yourself those questions and be honest with yourself, because 9 out of 10 times when I see unions or relationships, it just seems like they tripped and landed on each other's lap, and they just settled with each other, when we have to be more careful about our life decisions that we make are going to alter your entire life. Are you sure that you want to be with that individual for your whole life? I see a lot of women that settle for money, for material wealth, where he has a house. So she settles for him, but she doesn't love him. Is it really worth it? Is that house really worth your happiness? Anywho, let's get straight to the reading. These are going to be very fast, about 5 minutes per sign. We're going to get straight to the point, and we're just going to see if there are any messages that are relating to our soul and not our unfulfilled love circumstances. We're going to start off. So I made this list. Here, very random list. And it just so happens that Taurus is the first one on the list. So I'm not sure if I'm going to go down this way or across. We'll kind of, we'll see how it pans out. But I'm going to start off with Taurus, okay? So, my lovely Tauruses, I'm telling you 5 minutes. I'm telling you 5 minutes, but I'm not going to be surprised if I can't keep it to only 5 minutes. Tauruses, I wish you weren't the first one on the list, because I don't even know how to get started with you. Tauruses are a very frustrating puzzle to me, because you have a manifesting power, a manifesting like an abracadabra wand. It's very easy for you to manifest, yet you manifest that which you don't want. And you question the wrong things. And you're supposed to be questioning other things, but you're questioning the wrong things. So your friends, for example, Tauruses, I don't know why, but I get about a 90% of the people that are around you or your family don't have your best interest. They will look at you and give you like a professional opinion, but really their opinion stems from their control over you. So they're not giving you advice about what they think that you should do. They're giving you advice on what they think that you should do that would benefit them. So, like, you are guarded and you are unable to be vulnerable and to open up your heart, and you complain about that which you push away. So the universe, God cannot help you if you're pushing away your blessings and then complaining that you don't have them. You question the blessing, but you don't question your false friends and false family members that are plotting against you and digging holes and pits so that you can fall in them, so that they can laugh and get pleasure from you having to ask them for help. Let's go and start with your reading using our wonderful Sweat Lodge cards. The first card, I hadn't decided what kind of spread we're going to do. So let's see. Let's do physical work. The physical work that you need to do. The physical work that you need to do is the tree of life. For some reason, you're feeling disconnected. You're feeling disconnected from the world, disconnected from the community, from society, disconnected from yourself. And the reason for that is because you have not only molded yourself to be a puppet mannequin to serve and portray a certain image to other people. What do you think that has? What kind of effects do you think that has? So you paint yourself as this mannequin that you want people to see. And all of your expectations are not really yours. I feel that the expectations that you have belong to other people, and it's their expectations, their dreams, their hopes, their benefits, their interests. And they have shoved that down your throat. And you seem imprisoned like you always have been, in hermit mode, sulking, when you manifested this for yourself. You put yourself in this very position. You allowed other people to run and ruin your life in a sense. I don't feel that you are living for yourself. I don't feel that you are even feeling connected to this lifetime. I feel that you are just living by society standards. And you need to understand that you are part of life, that you are part of the cycle of life. You're part of life's glory and life's bitterness. And for some reason, you've set yourself aside and made yourself feel as if you are something aside from that, isolated, and not connected to the rest of the mystery of this lifetime. You too will wither away just like everybody else. So how does that make you different from other people? Why do you feel so disconnected? The second card is the inner work. The inner work. Did you see that? We have 3 cards that just flew out for you. You know, when I first started this, when I was planning this video, I wasn't planning on showing my face, but I knew that certain topics would be raised where I would have to just like look at you. The inner work. You have 3 cards here. The first one that grabs my attention is sacred herbs. So how can you incorporate more teas and essential oils and herbs into your life and perhaps replace certain substances, like quitting nicotine and replacing it with CBD. I don't know why that's the message that I get. Somebody is suffering from nicotine addiction and you need to wean off by lowering the percentage of nicotine that you're taking. So I don't mess with that stuff, but I know that it comes in percentages similar to CBD, THC, alcohol. And if you're really serious and understand how toxic nicotine is and tobacco and vape pens. Just start by lowering how much you're taking, the percentage, whatever, if you're taking max right now, just get lower and lower and lower and lower. And then when you're pretty low, try and see if you can transition to a CBD vape pen, because mental health issues is real. Okay, mental health issues is real, and there's nothing wrong with needing to be prescribed something, but there is something wrong with being prescribed the wrong thing. So I do not advise for any Western medicine, for example, at all, because they're just going to give you pharmaceuticals that are like a dirty version of. I'm sorry, I'm not going to go into details. I am not Western medicine friendly at all. I am for Chinese medicine, holistic medicine, what they call alternative. It pisses me off. They call it alternative because no, it's not alternative. It is ancient. So yeah. Then for the inner work, we have you facing yourself. Like, you have a lot of guilt and you have a lot of shame because of a mistake that you made back in the day. And the mistake is getting bigger by you not apologizing. The mistake is getting bigger by you not talking about it, by you ignoring it, by you brushing it under the carpet, brushing it under the rug. It's creating mold and dust, and it's just making the problem bigger. So some of you are dealing with this egotistical issue where you cannot own up and apologize, and that's only creating a bigger hole for you to get stuck in, specifically in your love life. Confronting yourself here, for some reason you can't look at yourself in the mirror. There's a part of something about your circumstances that you're ashamed of, and I'm sorry, but that is also ego. It's also ego, okay? And that comes from you living up to what society standards expect of you instead of you living for your soul and your soul life. You're living for the mall. You know what I mean? What the mall would think of you. A lot of you are mistreating a soulmate or mistreating a twin flame, or you ghosted them. Because you're scared of what people will think of you and how they will judge you and the partner that you have chosen to consider for long term. And that is shallow, okay? That's really shallow. And that's not real love. That means that Tauruses have to choose ego versus your love of your life, the love of your life versus ego. It does not surprise me that Tauruses are dealing with the twin flame, being the Venus that you are. So I'm sorry, it came out so blunt, but that's what the messages are. It's going to be ego versus love for you, and you've chosen ego for many years. And how is that going for you? Very interesting that you have both of these together. This right here is your spirit. This is what we were just talking about. Your spirit, your soul. You're not living for your soul. You're not living for your spirit. You're living for superficial, material, mall life. And last but not least, that one just flipped over. Look at that. Goddess of water. This is all about change. You having a problem right in front of your face, And if you don't leave the problem, you're not going to figure out a way out. So, for example, let's say you're sleeping on someone's couch and you're paralyzed with fear and worry, and you just don't know what to do. And the days and weeks have gone by and you haven't done anything about it. You haven't got a job. You don't got a plan. Nothing. How do you expect to solve that problem if you just sit there? You need to get up from the couch and you need to take a walk, go to the park, go to the beach, go to a concert, go to some community gathering, a protest, whatever. And all of a sudden you start meeting a bunch of people and a bunch of people are like, yeah, we're looking for roommates. And, they're all like hollering about it. And you're like, oh my God, I need a roommate too. How much can you put in? And they're like, oh, I can put in this, I can put in that. And your problem is solved. But your problem is not going away because you're sitting on top of it, literally. You're sitting on top of your problem. You're not getting up and moving energetically so that there is no stagnation in your life. It's toxic to sit down. It really is. It's toxic to sit there because you're not allowing life to flow inside your body. Those are all the messages that I have for Taurus. I wanted to keep these short. I even wanted to add more cards, but I'm going to keep them at that. Okay. Next sign is, which way should we go? Should we go to the right or should we go down the list? This is torture to like decide in this manner, but I'm gonna go for Sagittarius. Sagittarius is, okay, let's tune into your energy. Okay, so last time I tuned into your energy, Mr. and Mrs. Jupiter, you have a way of being able to get up really high and something happens and you have a way of just spiraling down so low. Okay, what are the messages for Sagittarius? What kind of physical work do Sagittariuses need to do during this time? Physical work for Sagittarius is, I think that last time I tuned into the Sagittarius collective, you were in rehab. Detoxing, and I hope that went well. But here we go, crying for a dream. Okay, so it does not surprise me that Jupiter is here. Jupiter is needing a vision quest. You need to go camping and you need a vision quest. You're into like hallucinogenic medicine like peyote and mescaline, mushrooms, things like that. You're constantly always needing a vision. You're constantly needing a revelation. You're constantly needing a sign or to conquest some kind of voyage. And how it's coming up right now, it's coming up as a problem. It's coming up as a problem. It's a repetitive Jupiterian cycle where you need to get rid of this need. It's like an addiction to thrill seeking, like an addiction to like a thrill seeker. And I think that that's the problem, is you're obsessed with the external visual aspects and you're not focused on the internal. So, for example, if you do some meditation or astral projection and you go inward, internally, you'll get a lot more visions internally doing a meditation than you will externally. Okay, that's one way it can go. The other way that I can go is a lot of the clouds in the sky are cloaking, are CL for clouds, CL for cloaking. The clouds are cloaking ships, starships, constantly. So the real meditation here needs to be on why do you constantly need a vision? Why do you constantly need to go camping? Why do you constantly need hallucinogenics? Do you not know that we are going to reincarnate and maybe in your next lifetime you won't even be on this planet? I just see it as an issue because it's like it causes depression. It makes you feel like you've seen it all. But this is an internal battle. There's an internal battle going on here. It's not about the vision. It's about the need for needing a vision that you need to meditate on. Why do you constantly thrill seek a certain situation? A lot of you are divinely discontent, and that's why you feel like you need the vision, because it's going to inspire you to not be unhappy anymore. And that also needs to be looked at. Why do you need something outside of yourself? Why do you need to see something? Why do you need to search for something outside of yourself to make you happy? What's going on inside that you can't just be in acceptance with how everything is panning out in your life, while taking responsibility for the negative influences that you allowed or were fooled by? We have the fire pit, doing what motivates you, doing what you're passionate about. It just seems like you've lost your path, you've lost your way, like you were really successful. What happened? I just feel like a lot of you were up there and something happened and you just dropped. And I think that whatever happened was like a glitch, like a retrograde, a test, a critique, a judgment, and you took it fatally. You took it like a fatal decision that just broke you. You know, it's like I don't know why this is the example that I get, but it's like somebody starts their own juice company. They open up a juice store. And they're at the juice store, they got their register, they got their juices, they got their menu. And they have the first juice, you know, and they drop it and it breaks on the floor. So then they close the store and they never open again. Like literally, that's what it makes me think of for Sagittarius energy. It's like that something like that happened. Like, why did you allow something so stupid to discourage you? Like, just something so dumb. Like, maybe you were a shadow, what's that word? Banned, from a certain platform. So that discouraged you. Because that actually happens a lot. A lot of people get discouraged when it's so hard to go there. It's so hard to go there because it just brings up a whole list of other topics. But you let something so stupid stop you from your success. And no, 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 it was not the circumstances, because people keep using that as an excuse. And that excuse is just a spiritual test. It was just a spiritual test. It will, life is a spiritual test. Everything that you encounter on a day-to-day basis is a spiritual test. So no, no, Sagittarius, you do not need to go camping. You don't need to be on psychedelics. You don't need a vision. You don't need to do anything like that. If you do, maybe a little microdosing of mushrooms, but it's only going to make you more intuitive and sensitive to the darkness that's going on right now. And why do you want to be more in tune to the darkness? I had mushrooms, like 7, 8 years ago. And I remember that I had decided that it was going to be the last time that I ever had them, because I'm already an empath. I'm already a medium. And the mushrooms made me feel even more, and not in a good way. It made me feel the earth's pain, and it was very agonizing. And I couldn't even get on the train because we had to get on the train to get back home. And I was just like paralyzed in pain because I was feeling the earth's pain. So you don't need anything external, Sagittarius. You don't need anything outside of yourself. The inspiration is going to come from you internally and is connected to whatever you're motivated and passionate about, that you kind of dropped and gave up on just because of someone's dumb critique. Like, I really feel like someone criticized it, or you were banned, or you relapsed. And people like live action. So for a lot of you, I feel like you had a successful channel and you fell off and you just didn't upload anything for years or whatnot, months, and because you relapsed or something like that. And people love that. People love when you just come back on your channel and you're like, hey, I relapsed, I'm back, because believe it or not, people care about you. And a lot of you, I feel that a lot of you are in the public eye, like social media platforms. There's just something about you that you disappeared for a long time and people were worried about you. Okay, last but not least, spiritual advice. Going with the flow. Just go with the flow. If you don't know where to go, just go with the flow. And that's all the messages that I have for you. Oh my God, I was about to press stop. Okay. I hope that was helpful for Sagittarius. Next one that we have, oh dear God, Capricorn. Capricorns. So where do I begin with Capricorns? Where do I begin with Capricorns? Like, just give me a minute, okay? Like, seriously, please, don't even look at me. Give me a minute, okay? Because I feel like a pinball machine when it comes to Capricorn. Like, there is so much going on that not going on, but I need to figure out where to begin with Capricorn. Just give me a second, okay? So I'm sorry, but jealousy and haters. Jealousy and haters. That's what Capricorn is dealing with. Now, I put my screen down for a second because I wanted to see if there was another way to begin. But there was not. I just had to say it. Jealousy and haters. Honey. Like, if I could choose one sign that I think that has been hated on the most in the past couple of years, it is high vibrational Capricorns, okay? There's two types of Capricorns. Two types. There's high vibrational Capricorns and there's low vibrational Capricorns, okay? And the high vibrational Capricorns have been hated on and have had to deal with jealousy for several years because of their undying success, because it's so easy for them to manifest because they're so passionate about service. Now, the lower vibrational Capricorns need to check themselves because you've been treating people so dirty, and then you get surprised because people are dirty towards you. You can't treat people, you can't mistreat people and then expect abundance to come your way. It just doesn't happen that way. So back to the high vibrational Capricorns. The high vibrational Capricorns that have abundance because you've been humble and taking God's messages with a grain of salt. You've been attracting a lot of jealousy and haters because high vibrations attract low vibrations. If you're at a high vibration, it will attract low vibrations because the low vibrational people will feel little next to your high vibes, and they will feel intimidated and they won't understand all of the pain and suffering that you as a high vibrational Capricorn had to go through to get where you are, which is a place that is oozing in potential that hasn't been used the way that it should because people have been cock blocking your success in any single way they can, shape, or form. So let's say there's a promotion at work and then somebody comes in and they're like, no, they can't do it because of this. No, they can't do it because of that. Or somebody wants to get married to you. And then one of their friends are like, no, you can't marry them because of this. No, you can't marry them because of that. That is what has been happening to Capricorn for several years now. So certain gifts and blessings that were meant for high vibrational Capricorns should have been given and received by now. But because of the jealous haters, they have created blockages, energetic blockages to bind you away from the success and wealth that you deserve. That is your birthright, your destiny. It's yours. It belongs to you. So even if people try to take it, they will not be able to use it. And it will have to be given back to you because once you have it, it will be activated. People are trying to take your blessings and your gifts, and they don't even realize that you can't have it unless you know how to activate it. So they take your gifts, they take your blessings, and they're like, how come it's not working? Like, let's say someone took your schedule at work. Let's say they talked to the manager because they've been working there longer than you have, and they want your schedule because they saw that you make so much money on that schedule. So they take your schedule, and now you have a crappy schedule. So all of a sudden, business is slow and they're not making the money that you were making when you were working that shift because they don't understand that you're the one who got it. You're the one who's got that magic. It's you, it's your energy, it's your vibe. So they start spying on you while you're doing the shitty shift. And they see that miraculously you're making so much money, and they're just like, dang, how come they can't get what you have? Because only you can get it. It's only meant for you. So even if they try to take your days and your schedule, your jobs, your dates, the kiss is not the same. I'm not saying that's what's happening. I'm just saying as an example. They're like, dang, this is not the way Capricorn kissed me. I just felt like I just kissed a wall. And they're just like, I didn't feel anything. How come when Capricorn kissed me, I felt like I was melting wax? So that Capricorns have been dealing with that for so many years. So all of this blockage is going to backfire on those individuals. It's going to block their life 3 times fold. So let's say they blocked you for 1 year. The universe and life and God is going to block them for 3 years. If someone tried to block you for 3 years, life is going to block them for 6 years, and so forth. So I'm really sorry that high vibrational Capricorns are dealing with this, but it's just what comes with being high vibes, and that's why it's best to be as neutral as possible. So by neutral, I mean try not to be too high. And if you do feel that high, try to hide it a little bit so that it doesn't attract so much attention from the lower vibrational people. That's the message that I have for Capricorn. Let's get right to the card section. Physical work, physical work that Capricorn has to do. I was trying to make this a collective reading for all signs, and I'm already at 1 hour almost, and I've only done 3 signs, so we'll see how this goes. It might have to get broken up into parts. Sacred songs, okay? So a lot of Capricorns are like gospel singers, sultry singers, soul song singers, Buddhist singers, meditation, Taoist singers, healers, singers, and you stop doing it. You stop doing it because of the haters, okay? And this is telling you don't stop doing it because you stopping doing this is exactly what they want. Because if they are able to make you stop doing this, this is your virtue thread, and you want the most virtue you can possibly get. Whenever we mistreat people or even use foul language, it cuts off the virtue and it lowers the virtue, and we're karmically given black flowers when we mistreat people. So don't allow the oppressive force to stop you from doing what you were doing that you felt discouraged, because that's exactly what they intended. They don't want you singing. Okay, and then we have the inner work, and the inner work is knowing that things will be resolved. You have to just know that things will be resolved, okay? And by you telling yourself over and over again if you have to. The situation will be resolved. What can you do that's productive in the meantime while the situation resolves itself? Anything, everything that you're dealing with, it will resolve itself by you kind of not thinking about it and doing something else active. Because when you're doing the flow of life, then other things get resolved in the background. And then we have Morning Star. So your spiritual work is to regain your hope. Okay? Because if that's not regained, then your haters are going to get what they want. And that is to stop you from what you're doing. And they're literally not wanting you to be happy. Okay, so that's all the messages that I have for Capricorn. Let's move on to the next sign. And we're at Aries. Aries, what messages do I have for Aries? Let's see. Aries rarely watch readings. Rarely. So that's another reason why I stopped doing 12 sign readings, because like the majority of people who actually watch them is Libra, Scorpio, Taurus, Capricorn, and that's pretty much it. And sometimes Pisces, but not really, because Pisces are too busy being wanted by everybody. So anywho, what messages do we have for Aries, if there's any Aries in here? Okay, and we have fire. Do whatever gets you fired up. Do not allow your everyday distractions, everyday routines, everyday responsibilities to distract you from what you're meant to do with your life in this lifetime. I'm sorry, your soul life. What you're meant to do with your soul life. Because your problem, Aries, is that you're living for your life. You're living for your physical life, your physical needs, your material, your superficial, your life. And you've absolutely ignored your soul life, your spiritual life. And when you do that, it makes you empty on the inside. You know, like Caroline, the mom in the Caroline movie, she's like a doll and she's just like empty in the inside. And it's like when you're empty on the inside, you're more susceptible to get attacked by an entity because you're empty on the inside. How do you become empty on the inside? By living for your life and not your soul life primarily. Your soul life comes first, and then your life, and then your physical, and then everything else follows. But people live backwards, and they're doing everything to fulfill their body and not their soul. The inner work is the tree of life. You are also disconnected. You're feeling disconnected from yourself, disconnected from life, disconnected from your family members. It's like you just serve them dinner and there's no interaction. There's no divine relationship. There's just everything is so mechanical and robotic with you. And you have to break that and open up and crack open your soul and your spirit that should never have been shut closed to begin with, because it makes you a living zombie when you don't check in with your soul and spirit first. So you're successful, but it's coming out of a very superficial and material way. It's like you're allowing superficiality in the material world to be your plastic encouragement to keep living, as opposed to having savings for your mental health, your traumas, your spa treatment, and things that are to pamper your soul. Because if you're not doing that, you're not going to receive any divine messages from God, because God's going to be like, you're too busy trying to get all those brand names that you have no time to listen to the meditation stream that is unlimited. And for the spiritual advice, we have the North Red. So making a new path, making a new routine, making new patterns, including incorporating something new in your life because something has become stagnant, routine, mechanical, robotic, and that is why you feel so unfulfilled. Okay? Next sign that we have is Virgo. My little Virgos. What are little Virgos dealing with? Virgos, I feel that you've been very in tune. Just in tune with the energies, in tune with the universe. And you don't have time for BS. That's what I feel that you've been dealing with. Learning how to create boundaries. I feel like boundaries is an issue for you where there's someone's boundaries that you're not respecting. And it goes deeper than that. There's something that you feel is missing from your life. So anyways, let's start with the first card. And the first card is going to be the physical work is purification. This is the Sweat Lodge. All this negative. Okay, here it is. The boundaries have to do with yourself. They have to do with you setting boundaries with yourself to how much negativity are you going to allow. So you're allowing a lot of negativity to come into your mind. It's like you're accepting the stream of negativity and you need to switch it. Okay, you need to switch it to no, I am not going to accept the pessimistic stream. I'm going to choose the stream that is grateful and humble for the simplicity of life. And you know very well how to do that. I really feel that you're going to be able to do this easily. I want you to visualize 2 threads. And when you feel the negative thoughts, the negative ideas, the negative beliefs, I want you to visualize a black thread and allow them to come. Allow them. You're like, okay, yeah, come. And then grab it, grab the thread, grab it. You're like, okay, is that all? Is that all the negativity you have? Okay. And then burn it in flames. Of course, I'm talking metaphorically, but you do this in ESP. You do this in your mind. And you're like, I'm not going to take that thread. And then you start pulling a gold thread and you start asking the God, your guides, heaven's general soldiers, Buddha, whatever it is, to help that gold thread flow on a daily basis. And for you to be assisted in not grabbing the black thread, which you already burnt. And catch yourself. Catch it. As soon as you have that negative thought that's coming in, catch it. Say, no, I'm not going to say that. I feel like a lot of you have been having such a hard time with negative thinking that it comes out in your words. And you say things that are really negative and like semi-sarcastic, but you actually believe them. You need to stop that. Okay? See? This is the inner work is you need to stop fearing things that do not exist. They only exist because you fear them. As soon as you fear them, you just created their existence. So stop fearing there's just something really ridiculous that you're fearing that is as simple as going forward in your life or believing that you can be happy without a mother or father figure in your life. Something like that. And you just need to cut it out. Okay? You need to cut it out and go with the changes that you're resisting change, like a cat when you want to bathe the cat and it doesn't want to go in the tub. That's what you're doing. And there's an energetic elevation that's trying to occur in your life where life, the universe, God wants to upgrade you, but you're holding on and you're being resistant because you're stuck on the pessimism thread that you need to gather until there's no more and burn it to shreds. That's the message that I have for Virgo. Next sign, Leo. Oh dear, Leo, 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 Leo. Leo is another sign that I don't feel like they watch a lot of videos because you're too busy hosting parties, you know? So you're another one that the signs that I don't feel are going to watch this, I'm going to keep it to a minimal because I know how y'all are. And Leos, y'all are always busy hosting parties and creating schemes, okay, and social gatherings and all that. So let's start right off the bat with, speaking of the devil, your physical work, Leos, is addictions. I know, right? I know that's not what you want to hear, but hey, these are Lakota Sweat Lodge cards. And these cards are about purification, detox, fasting, reconnecting to spirit. And of course, this card, the thing about these cards is they call you out. They call you out. They call you out. And Leo, you are no exception. This right here is you needing to deal with your addictions, okay? Because your addictions, even though you don't think you have a problem, it if they are not dealt with, it can create health issues to be of concern. Okay, we're talking about liver issues, digestive issues, gut health, your immune system. You have created a life of addiction for yourself where you enable your addiction. Your lifestyle revolves around your addiction, and without that addiction, you have no life. That's how you're living. You live for that substance. And if that substance is not there, you don't want to live. Okay, so this is a serious issue. You can continue to ignore this issue that you've had for decades, or you can finally deal with it. And some of you will be interested in leaving certain substances behind, and others will choose to continue learning lessons in that lifestyle. But for those of you who are interested in leaving that addiction, know that it will not come easy because you've done it for so long. And let me explain something to you. When you choose alcohol as your main addiction that you do on a daily basis, the reason why you feel so depressed the next day is because alcohol drains your serotonin and dopamine levels that you need the next day so that you don't want to kill yourself. As dramatic as it sounds, that's what it is in regards to your mental health. Every day we need that little serotonin, we need that little dopamine so that we can get up from bed and not feel like we have no motivation to live, like we want to just end our lives, you know? And what people don't understand that are addicted to alcohol is when you use alcohol, it makes you push that button so many times, the little serotonin and dopamine in your brain, that the next day when you need it, that button doesn't work because you overused it through addiction. That's the best way that I can explain it. So even though you think that you're not going to feel better, you will feel better. It's because of the alcohol that you feel like killing yourself. Once you leave the alcohol or detox or fast from it, your dopamine and serotonin levels will be balanced once again, and you will feel silly for thinking that way. In the beginning, you're going to be like, oh my God, I said I wanted to kill myself. Like, I can't believe, like, what was I thinking? It's not what you were thinking, it's what you were drinking. Anywho, the inner work is regaining hope. You don't have hope that you can cure your substance abuse condition. And if you do not have hope that you can leave something, detox from something, fast from something, even if it's temporarily, just to experience what it feels like to use your natural serotonin and dopamine levels, because a lot of people have they forgot what that feels like. And there's nothing better to me than having that tea, having that cup of coffee, and knowing that you made that tea and you made that coffee with your beautiful divine serotonin and dopamine. If you didn't have that, you wouldn't have the motivation to make that tea. And when you take a substance that takes away your motivation to have tea and coffee, it's heartbreaking, because it's like, oh my God, you're so depressed. You don't have the motivation to make coffee or tea. That's such a low, low, low sensation to feel. You know, whenever I have motivation to make tea and coffee, I'm just like, thank you, God. Thank you. Thank you that I am not doing what I used to do. Because I used to binge drink every day, all day, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And that's another video. But anyways, for the spiritual advice, we have crying for a dream. So this is you needing to go on a camping trip, without the substance. You going on some kind of journey without that substance, you going to some kind of city, some kind of place. Because the best thing to do if you really want to quit alcohol is move. Because, for example, I was born in San Francisco, California, and alcohol is everywhere. You know, I used alcohol for many, many years in California, and the best way to quit, I think, is to move away from the location of where you use that substance the most. Because then whenever you move, your mind, your mental health, your well-being, your immune system will identify that new location with a sober environment. So I left California because of alcohol was one of my reasons, because I didn't want to binge drink anymore. So when I moved to the new location, it just opened up my eyes and just gave me a peek at what the sensations feel like to have your serotonin and dopamine levels give you happiness without alcohol. Okay, next reading. I really hope that this doesn't get cut off. It's been an hour. I don't know if I should just cut it and make it into 2 parts. I think I am. Okay, so I'll see you on the second video, a Libra.